I think that now there are many growing number of the organizational initiatives are working on natural capital or natural capital accounting, like Natural Capital Coalition or GRI, IIRC, and Accountability for Sustainability. So do you think they all have the same perspective or same understanding about natural capital?
I think that people are coming together to form a common understanding. And the reason for that is, in 2002, my first job was to speak to scientists about what they think about natural capital. And I put together an academic advisory panel of the leading professors in ecological economics and environmental economics, and pure economics, in fact. And what they told me at the time, and I still believe this to be true, is all of the techniques are there already. All of the techniques have been tested for 40 plus years. It's just a case of taking these techniques that the scientific community has already agreed and applying them to business. So when we think about the development of a protocol, this is not creating something brand new. This is taking scientific techniques and applying them to business.
I see. Then, and after 10 years or 12 years since that time, so what do you think is the next idea, or what do you think the business and such an organization are intending to make in the future?
I think the challenge for business is to decouple environmental impact from economic growth. We will have 3 billion more middle-class consumers, mostly in Asia. That's a big growth opportunity. But we cannot sustain that growth because, for example, with water, there will be 40% less water available for that demand. So business as usual is broken. So what we need to do is find ways of changing the link between environmental impact and revenue growth so that it doesn't look like this, it looks like this. And that is both an opportunity and a big headache. We need to figure out how to do that. So to my mind, we need to increase human welfare, we need to increase GDP, but we need to decrease environmental impact. And sometimes there may be sacrifices between those, but we need to find ways of doing it because it's just the fact that we won't be able to do it with business as usual.
I see. So, I also hear about the Natural Capital Protocol, which is making our global common platform or framework for this natural capital accounting. And what would you tell me more? And you yourself is also involved in that project. So would you tell us what you're going to do and what the world would be if such a protocol would be made in the future, in the near future?
So the protocol is currently being developed. It's a coalition between the major accountancy firms, the World Bank IFC, the UN Environment Programme, the GRI, and the IIRC, and actually many other bodies as well. And we are involved, we are leading various different parts of how you develop a protocol. So the aim is to have a protocol which has a number of accepted methods and a framework for reporting. And what I see in the future is that businesses will be using these methods to really understand scarcity and regulatory risk internally, for internal communication, and for better investment internally, but using them to report to investors and other stakeholders in a very clear language. So actually I see commercial advantage being gained by companies that really understand natural capital accounting techniques. We already have one client, for example, who has spoken to their bank manager to reduce the cost of lending because they've been able to show that their risk is less than the competition. So they've been able to have a lower interest rate set for their lending policies. So there is commercial advantage to be gained. We've found cost reductions, we've found communication elements, product optimization, So for example, if you can create products by avoiding areas where there is scarcity, where there is a lack of availability that could suddenly result in an increase in price, then you can save money. So we think that the world of accounting will expand to include natural capital accounting. And in the same way as accounting is useful in a business context to understand the value of a business, how you make capital investments, natural capital can be embedded within that decision making.
I see. And you have just mentioned the communication to the investors. But actually, well, as long as I know, Japanese investors are so far not so much concerned about the risk of scarcity of water or any natural resources. So, but how about the situation in UK or other European countries?
I think investors tend